Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Afternoon Tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me are my two co-hosts.
It's your boy, Chayse.
And it's your boy, Nick.
And we got a good show for you all today. Going to be discussing a new episode of WandaVision episode 4. Going to be discussing the Denzel Washington movie on HBO Max, The Little Things. Also going to be touching on a lot of news today. We haven't really been doing that much. So just going to go into talking about UFC, the fight with Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. Going to be discussing the whole big GameStop situation, touch on that lightly. Also discuss the Godzilla versus Kong trailer as well. Touch on that. Give our thoughts on what's going to happen there. Also got some mentions, two celebrities, two icons recently passed away, Cecily Tyson, Cloris Leachman. So just going to give our respects there. So nice, good show. How are you two doing?
Can't complain, making a little bit of bread off this GameStop debacle. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Got my $50, turned that into $70.
Yeah, definitely got to.
So did you have stock in GameStop before or no?
I should have. So I actually heard, because I think an underrated thing about this whole story is that this has been planned and calculated in it. This didn't just happen overnight. They were planning on, the hedge funds were planning on shorting this thing for years, and also the people on Reddit planning on squeezing it for about a year now. So
I'm just imagining the boardroom. I'm just imagining the boardroom of that hedge fund. It's just like, that was our plan to crash the GameStop.
Yeah. and we ruined
No survivors.
And we ruined it by holding.
Impossible.
But I mean, I wish I had bought into it, because I heard buy GameStop months ago. But I just was nah, there's no way they're gonna be profitable. There's absolutely no way. And this was at when they were $4 too. I could have bought 100 or so shares. I could have sat on that and made bank, but I did end up buying a partial share a couple days ago. I flipped that into a chunk of change,
How much was that?
I only put I think it was $40. Yeah, $40 into it. Now 70.
Yeah. So I only had stock in AMC. I bought it way before the pandemic, and so that's surging right now. So this is via Forbes. This is from let's see when this article got put out. Got put out a couple days ago. So it says here, as of 11 a.m., shares of AMC Entertainment, one of last year's worst performing stocks, has surged more than 200%. Wednesday, hitting more than $15 per share, nearly 7 times the average analyst price target. It says, along with GameStop, which is heading up much of the wild short squeeze, AMC Entertainment is one of the market's most heavily shorted stocks, counting some $730 million in short interest as of Tuesday afternoon. It says at-home traders on Reddit's Wall Street Bets Discord server spent much of Tuesday night creating memes to convince people to buy AMC stock. The Verge reported Wednesday with hundreds at one point infiltrating a Twitch streamer from rapper Soulja Boy in an attempt to get hype up AMC, which I heard they shut down the Wall Street Bets Discord server, and then they made another one. They also shut down the Reddit, and they had to make another one.
Come on.
So
you really think that? Yeah, the Reddit, there's a whole bunch of other subreddits that opened up after the initial Wall Street Bets closed.
Well, they never really closed. They went private because of
Yeah.
And then they reopened it back up.
You're talking about the internet that bullied a movie studio into changing the Sonic design.
Yeah.
We are resilient motherfuckers.
And the more you piss us off, the more we're that just is what it is. That's rule number 1 of the internet. Don't piss it off.
It's like that fucking meme. I'll fucking do it again.
These are kids that grew up on gacha games, have nothing to lose, dude.
We grew up on Jackass. We do not care.
Yeah, no, there's not a single fuck given.
Yeah. So basically what these people did, as far as what I'm understanding, is they bought all this. They kind of shorted the stock, which is basically they bought all this stock from a company. That is what you do when you do that. Is when you expect the company to fail, you buy all this stock in hopes that when the company goes bankrupt, you can make a profit off of that. So that's what basically people are doing with GameStop.
They didn't necessarily buy it; they borrowed it, sold it at the higher price that they thought it was. So that
when you sell it at a lower price for the people borrowing, that's how they get their profit. But when they sell it at a higher price, that's when they lose money, because now the lender has to pay all that money back that they lost.
Okay. Yeah. This was basically something that just blew up the internet. Obviously, everybody wants to get into it. Everybody was buying stock of it. You know what I mean? They've moved on to all these different companies. First it was GameStop, then AMC. Now there's this new thing called Dogecoin, which I don't even know what Dogecoin is.
Oh, Dogecoin?
Dogecoin, yeah. I don't even know what that one is now.
The future.
Cryptocurrency. Nick, you were gonna say something?
Oh yeah, it's just one of the newer cryptocurrencies. I think last I checked, it's trading at like 4 cents a coin.
I mean, it's not even new. I remember, I think popped up around 2014, 13.
Imagine the people that made Dogecoin and are just like, what? Oh, wait, what year is it? People are still talking about us?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
There's this account I follow that used to do updates on Dogecoin. And they literally just started tweeting again yesterday. They were like, yo, what the fuck? We haven't tweeted since 2014. Why the fuck? Why is this a thing again? But whatever. It's a good thing I still held.
It's a good thing it's holding at like 4 cents.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's like the new thing people are doing, like with cryptocurrency with Dogecoin. And another big thing that people talk about with this is basically how they're rigging the system when it comes to this. Now that people, figure this out and are making money off of it, because with Robinhood, which is the trading app, they basically like limited people, who could buy, stock in AMC, stock in GameStop. They sold people's stock. Sold people's shares, without their consent, and said like, well, we did it for your own safety, things like that. They also removed 100,000 negative reviews, because a lot of people, when that happened, a lot of people gave 1-star reviews on the app, and they deleted all those reviews. So that's also another major thing. And then a bunch of politicians have come out, talked about it. AOC was one of them. It's actually a lot of people,
kind of amazing. Shit, the fucking silver lining of this is it got Ted Cruz and AOC to be on the same side of an issue.
Yeah. Ben Shapiro.
Really?
Yeah, even Ben Shapiro, he agreed, AOC still shitted on Ted Cruz. She still shitted on him.
As you should.
Because his
as you should shit on the Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
Because his wife,
he almost got her killed a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Which you mentioned. His wife is a I think she's like works on Wall Street. I forgot what his wife exactly does, but somebody mentioned she is someone who is part of that industry. She's a manager director at Goldman Sachs. So you know what I mean? She's kind of one of the people part of the problem there. Yeah. So people remarked on how kind of disingenuous something like that is coming from him. And just an issue with like something needs to be addressed by that, of like the fact that these people can have this much power to just basically remove these reviews, all of a sudden stop people from just buying the stock. Just because all of a sudden now it's profitable. Now normal people can just all of a sudden make money in this and find out and all these hedge fund people are are losing millions. I mean, millions, even billions in some cases.
To go back to Ted Cruz.
Sorry, go ahead, Chayse.
I was just gonna say a little joke. To go back to Ted Cruz, I mean, this isn't the first time he hasn't been on his wife's good sides.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's not one to really defend her, so I don't know. Maybe this is a good thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if it's an issue that it can get all these forces together and do something, then well, maybe that is a good thing. Hopefully, something will come of it. Because I mean, that's just not right at all that you're able to do that and able to kind of bend the wheel like that. Yeah, go ahead.
It's hypocritical. It's supposed to be a free market that anybody can join. That's the whole point of capitalism. Anybody can participate in that market, and you're just proving that no, you can't.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
No, you can't. If you're poor, fuck you.
Right. You know, you're not supposed to learn how all the loopholes work, like how all rich people learn how the loopholes work. That's only for them.
Just reminded me of that meme. It's like rich people, poor people. Why don't you just save and invest your money? I was like, okay. Wait. Whoa.
Yeah. Not at our expense, okay? At your expense.
And it's funny, you know, watching, you know, like, you know, you have these billionaires who go on, like, you know, CNN and all these news networks and crying, you know, talking it's not fair, you know what I mean? And people shouldn't be allowed to do this. You know, there's one guy, you know, that gets shown actually crying and like whining, you know what I mean? And so, you know, it begs the question, you know, what are they going to do about it? Politicians, what are they going to do to address the situation? A lot of politicians, I mean, they sometimes make money from stocks trading. Like there was a situation just recently with like Nancy Pelosi getting stock in Tesla, you know, and right after that, you know, Joe Biden announces, you know, more of an initiative for like electric cars and things like that. So, you know, like there's a lot of issue there with money and politics and people, you know, there was a whole thing with Kelly Loeffler, who was like the senator running in Georgia with the runoff. And she made a bunch of money because she like after this meeting she had, she knew the pandemic was cutting and everything coming and all the things was going to get shut down. So she, you know, called up people and made, you know, all these things knowing that in advance. So it's basically like insider trading. I don't know why she's not in prison because that's, you know, insider trading through and through. But, you know, she got away. You know, she's like a billionaire. She owns a WNBA team who hates her.
That's how you know she got away. She's a billionaire, dude.
Yeah, you know. So, you know, she was able to get away scot-free. So, yeah. I'm curious to see where this leads, where it develops into. So right now, I mean, because Nick, did you get any stock at all or do anything?
Dabbled a little bit with Robinhood and investing. I bought a couple shares of AMC, last night my time. So see how that goes. Knock on wood. Yeah. Come on, Reddit, don't let me down.
So what are you two planning on doing with it?
We gotta hold the fort down, my brother.
Hold. Hold.
We gotta have these diamond hands, brother.
So, because what is AMC priced at right now? What's the market value right now?
Last time I checked.
Right now it's a aftermarket close. So right now it's at fucking hell.
I'm seeing 13.26 right now.
Yeah, 13 a share.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now too. So that's what I'm seeing. So you just plan on just holding on to it?
Yeah.
Just until.
Yeah, essentially.
Because apparently, I mean, I don't know. Who knows what's gonna happen next? Right. They're gonna try to do something similar next week because I think a hedge fund shorted AMC has to buy back. And I don't know when. I don't know what the logistics are. I am not your financial advisor.
Right. Yeah.
So if you do hop in on this,
we are not financial advisors. Do not call us if you lose money doing anything that we did.
Yeah. No, we might lose money, but what we're throwing in, as far as I know, at least, I'm throwing in disposable income. So I suggest if you do throw in money, it's disposable. It's money that you are not going to miss, and you don't need for your bills.
Yeah, just little by little. Take just like $10 here, $50 there, each check.
Yeah, because you know, if you put $20 into it and it's a nice little $40 flip, I say that's a success. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how pissed would you be if the government does bail out hedge funds?
Very pissed, because where's my stimmy?
I won't. See, it's kind of one of the things I know it's going to happen, so it's like, why bother even getting emotional about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things.
If people don't riot and they still haven't gotten their stimulus check, and then they give billions of dollars to save hedge fund people, I mean, come on. I mean, what more do you need? I mean, what more evidence do you need here?
I think if the Biden administration does bail out the hedge funds, they'll lose any chance at re-election in 2024.
And probably lose the midterms in 2022, more likely. Because that's already in jeopardy already, because they said they were going to give the checks out. The first thing, that's would be one of the major first things they did when they got in office.
Where's my check, assholes?
It's been a week and still no check. So that was like one of the big things they said they were going to do, and then they haven't done it yet. So I mean, if they bail out these people and try to offer some excuse like, oh well, we need to do it because blah blah blah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what more people need. With getting 2 checks during a pandemic, when other countries have given people every check every month,
full unemployment benefits, monthly stipends, full health benefits.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, America's looking like a third world country.
Yeah.
Man, Canada got $2,000 every month. This happened. I hate it.
Shit, I need to apply for my Canadian citizenship, eh?
Facts, eh?
Yeah.
Shit, Toronto ain't looking so bad.
Justin Trudeau, eh?
Shit, moving to Toronto, they ain't looking so bad now.
Nick, so did Japan do something like that did they do something like that?
I was talking to my girlfriend a couple months ago. I think if you applied with your Japanese residency card, they gave you like 100,000 yen stimmy, which equates to like about $1,000.
Okay.
I don't know how often that came in though.
Okay.
I don't know if it was like a one-time thing or if it was like a recurring check.
Okay.
Because with the majority of at least the companies out here, a lot of them are like, masks aren't a big deal out here. It's like people wore them on the train, on the bus, even before the fucking pandemic hit. It's just a common courtesy thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So the worst it ever got was like early in the pandemic for like maybe a month or so, where like Tokyo just shut down. But even then, essential workers were still going out. A lot of businesses were transitioning to work from home. So life has essentially moved on back here. I mean, I'm military, so I still got restrictions out the ass, but life has more or less gone back to normal in Tokyo.
Okay. All right. So stuff is open, and pretty much businesses are good and everything like that. Pretty much. Okay.
So basically, what you're telling me, if all wore a mask, maybe America would be back to normal soon.
Maybe. What do you think, Bubbles? Yes.
All right. But I'm looking forward to tracking this. Maybe getting more stock myself. Seeing what they're doing. But very. I mean, great for the working people. Taking on billion-dollar hedge funds, things like that. Basically destroying them. So
eat the rich.
Hey, any time a billionaire goes on CNN, on what was it, MSNBC? It was like the business site. Anytime CNBC. One of them, CNBC. Anytime one of them goes on TV and just cries because these poor people are making money. That's mine. It's my money.
You're targeting me.
Yes. I live to see that. Just like I live to see the cries of casual MMA fans.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and that was like another big thing that happened last week. Yeah, it happened last week, where you saw the big fight, Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor. This is the second fight they had. Last fight ended in a W for Conor McGregor. He knocked him out in
it was a first round TKO for Conor McGregor.
Yeah, like 1:50, wasn't it?
It was early. I don't remember the exact time, but it was pretty much a wash for Conor. Dustin at the time, Dustin Poirier wasn't the fighter that he is now. He was essentially just a guy with amazing jiu-jitsu, an amazing ground game, and heavy hands. But he would always get caught into like getting into brawls with people. And now, if you look at the Dustin Poirier that fought Conor this time, well, for one, that fight was at featherweight at 145 pounds. So both of them were cutting down, both of them sucking weight. Every weigh-in, they were looking like they were on death's door. And obviously that's going to take a little bit out of your chin, just rehydrating for fight night. And here they moved up the weight class. They're at 55 now, which is where they honestly should have been the entire time. And Dustin, he's made leaps and bounds in his game. He beat Max Holloway twice. And Max Holloway, he's just had that amazing performance in his last fight where he was like bobbing and weaving like Muhammad fucking Ali. And Dustin beat the shit out of him for 5 rounds when they fought. And this time, I also think Conor, he was kind of overlooking him because I heard rumors that this was going to be the stepping stone to fighting Manny Pacquiao. That's why he chose Poirier, because Poirier is also a southpaw, also boxing heavy style attack. So in his mind, he wouldn't have to worry about takedowns. He wouldn't have to worry about low kicks, which... You were wrong, bro.
Yeah, he kicked him a lot in the legs. Kicked him a lot in there.
Yeah, and it wasn't like because normal low kicks, they go to like your thigh, which those you can train, those you can condition. I've done it. It sucks, but you can get to a point where you can tolerate a couple of them. He was aiming for like the calf. It was like the bone outside the calf, which even after one, if it lands, your leg is essentially fucked. Because you can't plant your feet to throw your power shots. You can't move like you normally do. And Conor, he wasn't light on his feet like he normally is in mixed martial arts. And I think a lot of that was because he was looking for a boxing match next. And the distance is different, the stance is different, the timing is different, and he paid for it.
And just in case, this was UFC 257, by the way. And so with this matchup, so coming into it, McGregor was heavily favored. Am I correct in saying that, or?
Yes, he was heavily favored, and that's kind of always the case with a Conor McGregor fight. And that was one that I never understand Vegas odds makers, because they always like go either really weird odds in favor of somebody else, when if you actually like know the sport and you know people, it's like, really, you're putting Dustin Poirier as a 2-1 dog to Conor? And the guy Dustin Poirier, the guy who knocked out Eddie Alvarez, who knocked out Justin Gaethje, who beat the shit out of Max Holloway twice. And so, you're putting him a 2-1 dog to Conor, who hasn't fought in a year.
Yeah, that was a big takeaway from his after the fight interview, where he was just like, "Yeah, I haven't fought in a minute."
That's the thing. Boxers, they can take the time off like that. They can go a year between fights. With MMA, the game moves so fast. If you're out for 3-6 months and you're not training, you're not constantly improving, the game is gonna pass you by.
Yeah.
So when Conor first came on the scene, really sparked a lot of interest with his, shit talk and things like that. And then also he could back it up with his abilities. So do you think now, because now his current record, like basically since like after he fought Floyd, he's been 3-3, right? I mean, because he's had like 6 fights, and he's been.
Let's see. Since Floyd, he's come back. He's fought Khabib. He's fought Cowboy Cerrone, and he's fought Dustin Poirier. And so he's 1-2 since he's come back from fighting Floyd.
1-2 since. Okay. So, and now he has like multiple losses on his record now. So, and then after this fight, is he supposed to be fighting Manny Pacquiao, you said? Is that all set up or no?
Well, all of that was on the condition that he won this fight. Now Manny Pacquiao is going to be like, all right, why the fuck am I going to waste my time with you now?
Well, because still money.
Well,
still can make a lot of money.
I mean, he's not like Floyd, where Floyd will just take it easy, right? Regardless, just because it's easy money. Manny, like, I feel like Manny
I will
actually like.
I will say this for Manny, even though he's not been as active, all of the opponents that he has picked, like Chris Algieri, Tim Bradley, Adrian Broner, all of those guys are very tough, very good fights on the right night. All those are very tough but winnable fights for all of them.
Yeah.
So where do you see Conor's career going after this? I mean, some people said he could still do 2-3 fights this year. You know, possibly.
If I was matchmaking for Conor McGregor, I wouldn't even match him up with anybody in the top 5. I would keep him the fuck away from Michael Chandler. I would keep him the fuck away from like Mike Chandler, Charles Oliveira, all these young, hungry guys that are just monsters. I'd match him up with like with an Anthony Pettis. I'd match him up with Paul Felder. I'd match him up with guys who are still tough fights, but more winnable matchups for Conor because he is the UFC's cash cow.
Yeah.
UFC can put one Conor fight on a year and make their money back.
Yeah. Like
and the condition that you make your money back is if you keep Conor winning.
Yeah, but if he's just fighting guys you know he'll beat for sure, I mean, it's not really much excitement there, is it?
Lloyd did it for years.
Yeah, but people, I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, but no, I mean, he had a lot
again, you match him up with guys who are tough, who are like in the top 10, not the top 5, not the guys who are in line for the title, not like Michael Chandler, not Justin Gaethje, not Charles Oliveira, but every other fight in the top 10 at lightweight in the UFC is still a very fun, winnable fight. You can match him up with Nate Diaz for the 3rd fight. They're still 1-1. That is a fight that can still do big numbers because you have the story of a trilogy.
I could see that happening. I hope it's not the next fight because I feel like he needs some prep before he fights Nate.
When it comes to his game, do you think he's developed much since he first started to now?
Like, I would say that because the 2 fights he was preparing for with Khabib, I saw lots of improvements in his defensive wrestling and his defensive ground game. It was like even when Khabib was taking him down, he wasn't putting him in a whole lot of danger. It was still like a struggle for position. And Cowboy Cerrone, especially when they got in the clinch and he was throwing shoulder strikes, which not a lot of people were expecting. Also, for that fight, I think Cowboy broke his nose like a couple months prior, and maybe it wasn't healed all the way. So that may have played a factor. But I do see where Conor has improved in his game. He has made slight improvements, but again, his mistake was overlooking Poirier and planning for like the bigger picture with a potential Pacquiao fight.
I still don't know why he's trying to get into boxing. Striking's never really been his thing. I mean, I know the money, but like,
and I gotta correct you there, Chayse. Striking has always been his thing.
No, but like that's not how he wins, though. You know what I'm saying? Like he would win on on TKOs and stuff like that, right? Am I wrong?
Right.
I mean, I'm a casual. I'm a filthy casual, but most of the time, when I saw Conor winning, it was usually on takedown, like taking people down and pinning them. Am I wrong?
No,
I mean,
he
most
was
of-
like
most of
TKO.
knockouts.
He was.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like 21-2, and almost all of those wins are by. No, excuse me, by KO or TKO.
Yeah. So I mean, it's mostly like knockout stuff like that. Yeah.
But I just never really
Sure,
pictured
sure.
him much as a boxer per se. You know?
Well, I mean, the money.
I
mean,
know,
You know,
I
it's
know.
a lot of money. I mean, people probably. I mean, you make more money boxing than you do probably UFC, right?
Yes, that's for sure. You make more money in the top 10 of boxing than you do in the top 5 of the UFC.
So it's
And just because he has a big name, people will pay for the boxing match regardless. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the proof.
it was like he's crossed over into the casuals. My mom knows who Conor McGregor is.
Yeah.
I can't say
And
that with half the motherfuckers I've mentioned in this podcast talking about the UFC.
And I mean, I watched the fight with him and Floyd. I mean, I've seen some of his other UFC fights, but I watched the fight with Floyd just to see, because it's like, well, just let me see what everybody's talking about. Let me see how it is. And I went to a movie theater and actually saw the fight and everything. I paid for a ticket. And it was kind of like an exhibition fight a little bit, I guess. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what it is. That's essentially what Floyd's doing now. He fought Conor. He's fought Tenshin Nasukawa, who's like one of the big Japanese fighters out here, and now he's fighting Logan Paul, which
no, I don't think that's confirmed. Right? I don't think
that's confirmed.
It's happening
That is
next month.
Oh, that's confirmed.
That is next month, confirmed.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, geez,
Yeah, and speaking of Pauls, speaking of them fucking Paul boys.
Yeah, so you got Logan Paul fighting Floyd, and then when is that fight? It says, it's expected to be postponed from February 20th date, because that's when Floyd and Logan are supposed to fight February 20th. But it's possibly going to be postponed. But you also have Jake Paul, who's the younger brother, so he's going to be fighting Ben Askren.
Ben Askren, who was one of the big UFC signings when he made his UFC debut. Because he was this undefeated fighter who was champion in multiple organizations, who all of his wins were, well, decisions, or he submitted or TKO'd pretty much everybody he ever fought. And then he comes to the UFC and he gets worked by Robbie Lawler. He gets slammed. He gets the shit beat out of him. He comes back and finishes him with a choke. So a little of the luster around Ben Askren goes away. And then his next fight, he gets knocked out in 5 seconds by Jorge Masvidal with a flying knee.
Right, because that's the fastest knockout in the UFC.
Yeah, that beat the record previously held by Dwayne Ludwig, who was who trained one of my coaches back in the day. And then his next fight, he gets submitted by Damian Maia. He then retired.
I'm watching this Robbie Lawler Ben Askren. I mean, he just took this dude and just slammed him. I mean, like, damn, this is not even UFC. This is just a street fight. This is not even this is a street fight. It's not even. I mean, he just whooping his ass.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? I mean, this is like two dudes at a bar. This is not even a fucking match.
Yes, but Ben Askren, he is a guy who is because a lot of people are like talking shit about him, saying it was like, yeah, this motherfucker ain't tough. This man has represented the United States of America in the Olympics. This man is a champion in multiple organizations, has beaten some of the scariest dudes at welterweight outside of the UFC. He's beaten Douglas Lima. He's beaten I can't remember the other guy's name, but he's a scary Russian dude. He's beaten Paul Daly. He's one of the toughest guys on the world. Can he like strike on a competent level? No. Does he have hands? No.
So his
fuck. I'm trying to talk him up, but oh my god.
So what's his speciality? Is it ground
wrestling?
Game?
Yeah.
He is a wrestler through and through.
So I do think because he is a wrestler, he might give Jake a. Well, I don't. Does anybody really have Jake as the favorite in this fight, though?
Yes, because
Really?
I will say it. Jake has like proven that he can at least throw a punch.
He can.
I don't know if I can say the same about Ben Askren.
Okay, but here's the thing though. I think if it gets to the ground, I don't know.
It's a boxing match. That ain't gonna play a factor.
Wait, I thought they were in
boxing.
Oh, they're doing boxing? I thought he was gonna
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna be in the octagon. My bad. I thought it was shit. He's I thought they were gonna take it to the octagon. Damn, no.
And that's just showing what kind of balls Jake Paul lacks, because he's calling out guys who are not strikers. He's calling out Dylan Dennis, who is one of Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu partners, who's world-class jiu-jitsu, but it cannot strike.
And he has like an age limit too. Like nobody under 35. Everybody you have to be at least 38 above to fight me, Jake Paul.
which I will give him this. He is kind of doing like a normal professional boxer's route, because guys who are 2-0, they're usually fighting guys who are like 0-5 or 0-0 or 0-11.
But they're actually boxers though. That's the difference. That's the core difference. He's fighting non-boxers. I thought he was good. Man, I'm disappointed because I didn't know the full logistics behind it.
I was sad because I heard rumors about he was potentially going to fight Michael Bisping, who is the former UFC middleweight champion, who, let's be honest, Bisping could whoop his ass with one eye, because he literally has one working eye.
Jake would have died. And I thought he was going into the octagon again. Kind of disappointed.
Yeah, me too.
That's fucked.
So this fight is happening April 17th here. So would you all watch this?
I don't know if I can without feeling sad.
Yeah, for free if I could find it. I'm not paying to see Jake Paul win again. What?
unless Snoop Dogg's doing commentary, then maybe.
I'll think about it. Yeah.
If the panel's like Mauro Ranallo and Snoop Dogg, then I'm in. Anybody else? Fuck out my face with that.
But yeah, I mean, granted, I do think Ben's gonna do a much better job than Nate, but still.
Ben is at least fought professionally.
Yeah. Which
is more than I can say for Jake Paul's last two opponents.
And as we know, he has proven that he can take a hit, quite a few.
He can take a punt.
Yeah. Quite a lot.
So Nick, what is your friend who's in the UFC? Like, what does she think about people who kind of like with the Paul brothers? Because I know there's a lot of hate around them, and seeing like there's a lot of people who think that the Paul brothers are treating the sport of UFC, of boxing, as a joke. So I mean, does she have any perspective on that at all? Have you ever talked to her about that? Or
I know better than to bring up the topic of Jake Paul to a professional fighter. I know better.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Okay.
I will say that, at least as far as I can tell, at least training wise, the Paul brothers are taking it seriously. They're actually doing a full-on like training camp with it. I know Logan, he trained with Shannon Briggs for his fight with KSI. Yeah, you know Shannon the Cannon Briggs. That's the guy who's always, "Let's go, champ! Let's go, champ!"
Okay, yeah. I mean, it does seem like they are taking it seriously, and they are good at it to some degree. I mean, they are very competent at it, and
they're very good for guys who are 2-0 and 0-1.
I'd say they're like slightly above average, in terms of just like they could beat the average dude up. Like I rescind every threat that I've ever made about saying I can beat that dude up. I can't. That's a proven fact now. But I don't think they're ready for actual fights.
So I mean, I just don't know what they want to do. I mean,
neither do I.
I mean, there's easier ways to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
They've proven there are easier ways to make money.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they want to do boxing specifically. I don't know what the thing is with the infatuation with boxing.
I think they're trying to get that Floyd Mayweather money, because the reason Floyd went so successful for so long is you didn't tune in to see him win. You tuned in to see him get his ass beat.
Yeah.
And unlike with Floyd, that's a bigger possibility with the Paul brothers.
Yeah, because they were actually very hateable, like very easily hateable. They do such a good job at making me hate them every single time I see them on my timeline. It's like,
fuck off.
My blood boils, dude.
Exactly. I just sweat. Fuck off.
Yeah.
But I mean, Floyd. But that was. The money he made. That was like his profession.
Yeah, true.
And he was getting main pay-per-views. He was boxing's cash cow. He was doing a lot. In order to reach that level of how much you make to like Floyd made, you would have to actually be a professional boxer and stay in it for years. You know what I mean? Like,
maybe.
And a lot of guys, they started when they were, in their, mid late 20s. Floyd started when he was like a kid. He started when he was like 10, or you know what I mean?
Floyd. He comes from boxing royalty. He's got Roger in his corner. He's got Floyd Senior.
Yeah,
now here's a thought. Here's a weird analogy. What if the Paul brothers are kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters of boxing? You guys remember the Harlem Globetrotters?
Right. Yeah.
You know how granted, I hope whoever is still a fan of the Harlem Globetrotters doesn't get hurt by what I'm about to say, but those games weren't real. They did, they had the fabricated games, and like they would get dudes off the street that could just do fancy tricks and stuff and just have a good old time off of it. What if the Paul brothers are basically the Harlem Globetrotters, in the sense that they, you hate them so much, you want to see them lose, and basically what they're doing is just like setting up fights against people that you are familiar with enough that you could be like, all right, this is an athlete. They could potentially knock them out, but because they're not boxers, the Paul brothers get the upper hand every time because it's a Harlem Globetrotter effect,
Dude, do you know how hard it is to fake a fight?
I'm not saying they're faking the
fights. How hard it is to fake a punch?
I'm not saying they're faking it. I'm just saying that I'm calling them the Harlem Globetrotters because this is like the closest analogy I could find. In the sense that they're not faking it, they're just picking their fights very wisely. I can't say for Logan, because Jake is doing it wiser. Jake is actually fighting people that can't fight, but Logan is actually that's just a cash grab, quick cash grab. He's gonna get knocked out if Floyd actually takes it seriously.
With the Harlem Globetrotters, there was a little bit of a difference there. They were there to perform, but they were busy. They were scientists. They were hunting, with Scooby-Doo. They were solving mysteries.
That's my favorite Futurama joke ever.
You got a point there.
They were busy. They were doing a lot of stuff. They couldn't devote all their time to playing basketball.
True.
They had to have their matches. But
they're essentially like post-politics Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, They do a lot of other stuff. Diplomats, all that other things. But like Nick said, the fights aren't. It's like they pick their opponents. Guys who are older, guys who are like 30 plus.
Guys who aren't as dangerous with their hands.
Yeah, guys who are retired, semi-retired, kind of situations like that, who are not they're not the top of their sport. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if they did a fight with CM Punk or some shit like that. Something like that.
Oh yeah.
Why not? Sure, fuck it. So
I'm not trying to see a guy die on camera.
Again.
Yeah. So I love CM Punk, but when he went into the UFC, it was like, wow, bro, come on.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing, especially the card that he made his second fight on, his like highly publicized. He was on the main card over guys like Alistair Overeem, Curtis Blades, over guys like Joseph Benavidez, over guys who had fought for the championship in the UFC, and he took their spot on the main card.
Yeah, just name recognition, man.
Yeah. Money. Yeah. So Nick, you did you want to shit out your friend? Promote? She's got an upcoming fight coming up.
Oh yeah, in I think 2 weeks time, February 13th, UFC 258. Give a shout out to Miranda Fear the Maverick. I got one of her old t-shirts here. I'm still waiting on her new team shirt. She's fighting Jillian Robertson, very tough girl, but Miranda, she's gonna take that W.
Okay. All right. So yeah, and when that fight comes up, we'll talk about it. See how she did. Yeah. That'd be fun to watch. February 13th. Right?
Yep, February 13th. She's on the undercard on ESPN.
That fucking elbow last time, dog.
Where can you get the shirt? If people want to pick up the shirt, where can you get the shirt?
Oh, you can DM her directly at FearTheMaverick _HOMT on Instagram. Her new team shirts are 25 if you're available to pick up, or 35 if you need them shipped.
Okay, all right. I might give me one of those shirts. Maybe get a new workout shirt, everything like that. Pick one up. You know what I mean? Support. You know what I mean? So yeah, very nice.
And now, right, moving on to the people's main event.
Yeah, the big fight everybody wants to see. Godzilla versus Kong. This is the match everybody wants to see.
Team Monkey.
King Kong.
Dude, fuck that overgrown lizard.
Fuck that overgrown Geico gecko looking motherfucker.
And this is coming out March 31st here, so it's not that long. It's going to be simultaneous HBO Max and theater release. So that's nice. So yeah, HBO Max got a lot of content coming out. Content we're gonna review very later on. So initial thoughts on the trailer. What did you guys think?
To quote Nathan Flynn from Mission Impossible, that trailer fucks so hard. That shit was god. That shit got me hyped, and I love that. At least with this trailer, it looks like they're having fun with it, because the two Godzilla movies, they were so self-serious. It's like, this is a kaiju movie, right? They're supposed to be like fun.
Yeah.
It was like them, Godzilla and Kong staring each other down while some fucking jock rock plays in the background. I'm fucking with it.
I'm with it entirely. I mean, even if it, there's some people speculating that Mecha Godzilla be in this, and even if they do a team up at the end, I'm cool with it. I'm game. Yeah, as long as, because there's no way with these two monsters that they can turn this into a Batman v Superman situation where it sucks. Like, as long as they're having fun with it, and you give me like at least 3 rounds of them fighting each other, and then an additional round of them kicking the shit out of Mecha Godzilla, I'm cool. I'm game. I'm fair game. Whatever you.
And also touching back on what we said last week, is like Adam Wingard directing. I feel like he understands the tone that this should be going for.
Yeah.
And the little bits of action that we see in the trailer, it's all filmed really well. It's like even that confrontation on top of that carrier, it's like pulled way back. You can see everything, and you feel that punch on Godzilla.
Dude, I love it.
It was like
knocked him out.
Yeah.
You could hear the cry. You could hear the cries of 1,000 casual MMA fans. And I'm kind of wondering if the trailer they released in Japan is different, where it's like Godzilla's winning.
Oh yeah,
because right. Kong is giving them hands to Godzilla.
Yeah. Now
it's like he's a primate. He uses tools and shit.
Yeah.
He's got like made an axe. I was like, yes.
Dude, my friends were hating, bro. My friends were hating. They were like, yo, there's no way this fucking ape could be a nuclear overgrown lizard. And I was just like, no, dude, he has opposable thumbs.
Shut up.
Like King Kong, you don't get it. King Kong has 5 fingers that work. Godzilla has these little baby T-Rex hands.
He's got little baby on. Yeah, Kong has got speed.
Yes.
He's got power. He's got opposable thumbs.
Mm-hmm. And that little fire breathing, he has to, and whatever little fire breathing Godzilla has, he still has to charge it up, so it gives Kong time to punch the shit out of him.
Motherfucker, you think I'm gonna sit here and let you blast me?
Yeah.
Nah, fuck out of here. Nah,
this isn't an anime.
Fuck out of here with that.
This isn't an anime. We're not Kong's not the type of dude that'll just let you do your transformation or superpower.
He's not Goku. He's not gonna pass it off to like Kong Jr. and give Godzilla a sensu bean.
Yeah, no, Kong's about the action. I'm here for it. I can't wait. And I mean, even in the original one, he won. Like it was a stalemate, but like the only one that came up out the sea was King Kong. So you know.
So in this movie, you have like people returning because they're doing a whole big universe with these monsters.
I don't give a fuck about them.
Yeah, no, I don't give a fuck about the universe.
So you got like Millie Bobby Brown, she's coming back. Kyle Chandler's back.
Why?
Brian Tyree was Brian Tyree Henry in the?
He was not. This is his first appearance. As is a couple new additions to the cast. You have Alexander Skarsgård. You have Itza Gonzalez. You have Rebecca Hall. You have Julian Dennison.
Yeah, from Deadpool. People know he was a little kid from Deadpool too. Yeah.
Why are there people?
Yeah. Well, he was good in Hunt for the Wilder People. He was good in that. I thought, he was.
But like, why are there people in this?
You got to give some. You got to give a little bit of. You got to have a human element to watch the monsters fighting. You know what I mean? For them to be amazing.
No, you don't.
To move the plot forward, have some characters in.
I know the story that they're gonna try to go for. It's just like because apparently, Godzilla's like going crazy, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I just hope that that's not something that they.
Godzilla missed out on buying GameStop.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck you!
He couldn't buy Robinhood in time, so he's taking it out on the world as he should.
Yeah, like Chayse was saying, there's rumors about Mechagodzilla being in it. If you look at the trailer, some people, if you see breakdowns, they pretty much all but confirm that possibly, Mechagodzilla is going to be in it, which is probably going to be. So that means that they're going to team up to fight Mechagodzilla towards the end of the film. Trey's, and to Nick's point, you see the cameras pulled all the way back, which was one of the issues with the Godzilla movie they did that came out in, what was it,
2014, the Gareth Edwards directed Godzilla.
Yeah.
It was it was all the fighting, it was all too dark, it was all like in the background. You barely even see Godzilla in Godzilla. It's like a 2.5 hour movie and Godzilla's in it for maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You see his back, you see his shoulder, you see a little bit of the top of his head. You know what I mean? It was so slow.
Which with the trailer that works because I was genuinely hyped when I saw that trailer. It was like all those army guys halo jumping, and you just look in the clouds and you see Godzilla's scales. It was like, fuck, that shit looks sick.
But that
was like,
really slow.
Wait, that's all you're gonna show in the movie?
Which it can work sometimes because I don't know if you've all ever seen Shin Godzilla, because Shin Godzilla is really good and that has very limited Godzilla in it. It's very much, and that's a film that came out in 2016, and it was a movie made in Japan, and it very much focuses on kind of the side of Japan of the more natural disaster side. The more because when Godzilla was originally created, it was in response
it was a response to Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah, it was a response to that. So it more does kind of something like that of trying to be more focusing on that culture and focusing on something like that. So that's really, more kind of political in that sense.
Then you bring him to America and it's like, fuck it, destroy the city.
Yeah, no, there's no like political undertone. There's no like actual story. It's just a disaster movie, but with a.
And if there is, fuck it. If there is, fuck out of here with that.
Yeah.
So this one definitely is not trying to do this. It's not trying to do Shin Godzilla did.
Thank fucking God.
Because
you cannot. It's like, I'm trying to think about how to sell this movie to my girlfriend. You cannot sell Godzilla fighting King Kong with a straight face.
Yeah.
You just cannot.
What did you all think about Godzilla King of the Monsters? Because when it comes to the fighting, in that, because I thought some of it looked good, but then most of it was in darkness. It was, kind of there. I mean, you could still make out what was happening, but a lot of it, was kind of. A lot of it was raining, snowing in darkness. Which kind of bothered me a little bit.
I think both of those, they were kind of a victim of a director who doesn't understand the tone that this should be going for, because King of the Monsters, it's so self-serious, but this could be a really fun movie if you take the right tone with it.
Yeah.
It's like go, and it's even weirder because Kong Skull Island came out like 2 years prior. That gave you the blueprint of what to do with this kind of movie.
Yeah. And I really like Skull Island. I think it's a lot of fun. Had a good time watching it. Hopefully it can be kind of somewhere to that level of like Skull Island. This one's directed by Adam Wingard, who we talked about. We talked about this film and our most anticipated for 2021. If you all want to check that out. And Adam Wingard, movies he's done, like You're Next, Guest, things like that. He's also got a little bit some stinkers, kind of like with the Blair Witch, things like that.
Blair Witch.
Yeah,
I liked his Blair Witch.
Okay.
And I even have a soft spot for his Death Note.
I hate that. I really hate
it. I never watched the anime, so that's probably why I have such a soft spot for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe since I've seen the anime, maybe, but I think even as a movie by itself, I think it's a bad movie. I mean, it's a bad movie.
It's as somebody who loved the anime, it's bad, but I feel like it doesn't deserve as much hate as it.
Hey, I am always down for Willem Dafoe chewing up scenery, especially because he is easily the best part of that movie.
Yeah, that's the sad thing.
Bubbles agrees.
That was perfect.
Bubbles agrees.
That was perfect casting for Ryuk. I don't care what anybody says.
The entire time I just rewatched it recently, and the entire time I was waiting for Ryuk to just go, ha!
He just started laughing.
Let Neptune strike ye deadlight.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
If they had followed the manga ending, he might have had a chance to do that. But.
Yeah. I mean, that was good casting. William Dafoe, that was good casting for him. That was kind of the best thing about the movie, I thought.
Yeah.
And I like the casting here. They kind of got the better actors from the previous King of the Monsters back. At least with Kyle Chandler and with Millie Bobby Brown. We saw how great she was in Enola Holmes. And it seems like her character has a lot more agency, at least as far as this trailer goes.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was kind of slim pickings because most people died in the last one. It's kind of slim pickings.
Exactly. It's like every Godzilla movie ends looking like the third act of Man of Steel.
Yeah.
But y'all know what my dream Godzilla King Kong movie. It'd literally just be Joe Rogan, Snoop Dogg commentating as Godzilla and King Kong are just ripping each other apart, and then you throw in the other monsters too, like what's his name? Ghidorah.
Oh, fucking Ghidorah, Rodan.
Yeah.
Mothra.
Yeah.
Mothra. Yes.
Like a true King of the Monsters kind of movie where it's just them an all-out war killing each other. No humans, no interactions. It's just literally just Snoop and Joe Rogan interacting, like just commentating like it's a nature documentary or something.
See, my ideal ending is the very end. This crosses over into Pacific Rim.
Yes. Yes. I need that. I know you hate it, Josh, but I need that.
Last one didn't really do so well, so the sequel they made, I don't think it did all that well. Even though I like John Boyega in that film, it did.
Yep, you got one John Boyega, but you also got one Scott Eastwood weighing that shit down.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd like something like that if they did something like that, but I think that would actually work and fit, in this universe.
It's like,
you know what I mean?
Exactly, like giant monsters versus giant robots. It's not fucking hard. It's a very easy sell to like the 13-year-old me. Like, yes.
But does anybody know? I don't think Godzilla King of the Monsters, it didn't do that well when it went over to China, did it? Or
it did not. It did well overseas, and that's why Godzilla vs. Kong got greenlit. But it didn't do well in America, which is why it got a reduced budget. Because I think King of the Monsters, it was made for like $200 million. Kong vs. Godzilla, it's like $160 million.
Yeah. See, the box office on Godzilla King of the Monsters, $386.6 million here that it made here. Let me see what the budget was on this. Budget
I'd say north of 200.
It says 170 million King of Monsters.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I guess I was wrong.
Yeah. So it didn't do that well in the States all that much. I don't know why. I mean, because this was exactly what people wanted. I mean, like when King of the Monsters, like, okay, you wanted just to see monsters fight. People complained about.
I think that was a case of sequel burnout, because there were just so many sequels, so many reboots coming out that summer that it was a packed summer, so it kind of got lost in the shuffle. There was like one kind of stinker after another that summer, besides Avengers Endgame.
But I also would argue that it wasn't what exactly we didn't want this super serious fucking pseudo drama taking up time in our monster fight movie. Wanted the monster fight movie that would be fun.
It's like, we don't want the serious fucking like orchestral ethereal score for Godzilla. We want some fucking cock rock and some fucking monsters punching the shit out of each other.
Yes. So hopefully they give us that with this, and it's not too much drama. At max, it's just them teaming up against Mecha Godzilla, and we're having fun.
Yeah.
And then they introduce with mechs Pacific Rim, that they're all in the same universe.
Are they owned by the same company? They're all owned by the same company, aren't they?
Yeah, they're both Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So they're both Warner Brothers. They're both Legendary Pictures. So let's go. Let's go.
Imagine.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be so stupid.
We all know Guillermo del Toro's crazy enough to do it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, he always says he's doing like 50 projects at once. It's like, I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I know. I know. He's just like been trying to do like In the Mountain of Madness for what, like 20 years.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say he's making a video game too, if I'm not mistaken, with Kojima.
Oh yeah, because they're best friends.
Yeah, and it's not Death Stranding. I think he's doing something different.
Oh, okay. I didn't even play Death Stranding, but I was interested in the story and everything like that. Turns out, it was a great predictor of the world. So, but yeah, I'd be interested to see what they do with that. All right, so moving on from discussing Godzilla versus King Kong. We're going to go into discussing WandaVision. The newest episode just came out today, Friday, which is when we're recording. So in this episode, it follows Monica Rambeau instead of Wanda. So it's mainly her episode. And we saw from the last episode her getting basically kicked out of this reality that Wanda has created for herself, or maybe somebody else is creating. And so we see more of her backstory. And the opening of this is really good because it opens with everybody returning from the snap. And she was
because we saw because this is kind of like an unseen anomaly. I mean, we got the big triumphant, the Avengers returning moment in Endgame, and we got like a kind of comedic take of it in a little peek of it in Far From Home, but we never got to see like the more grounded, more like scary part of it. You don't get to see like, okay, what if the people returning, what if they had loved ones who died during the 5 years, and just like that shock and that horror. And the actress playing Monica Rambeau, she's playing it perfectly. She's amazing in this one episode.
Yeah.
And I'm glad she's getting more work in the MCU, because she's coming back for Captain Marvel too.
And that moment alone, that was
oh my god.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not too overplayed too.
Yeah.
It's like realistic shock.
Yeah, and I like how everybody who got snapped kind of just felt like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean 5 years passed? Like,
right.
Like I was literally just here.
Yeah. My mom got out of surgery 2 hours ago. Wait.
Yeah. So you see like what it is like, people coming back. For them, it's like they never left. For them, it's, you know what I mean? They just literally pick right back up exactly where things were. And, so it's her returning. She was one of the people that was snapped, and she returned from the snap. And it's in the hospital, and you see all these other different people returning. It's just mass chaos, all these people. It's like, all these just people appearing in beds and rooms and everything like that. And she goes to one of the doctors, and she asks, what about her mother? And her mother's Marie Rambeau, and who we saw in Captain Marvel. And she asks, what happened? The surgery, and everything's supposed to be good. And then the doctor tells her that by the time you were gone in those 5 years, the cancer returned, and she had passed away. So something like that, like you said, she plays it really well. And I think that just that kind of sadness of it, that like think about all the loved ones that were gone for those 5 years coming back, and then the people that were in their life just is gone now, and having to kind of pick back up from that point. I mean, like, you could almost do just a whole series kind of just about those type of people, trying to move on from something like that. What I mean? Like the people who stayed on Earth, during the 5 years of the snap, and the people who come back, because of just that trauma there. But yeah, it was really a great way to kind of start off the episode, I thought. And then so it moves to see what she does, professionally. So you see she works at Sword, and Sword in this show is not it doesn't have the same acronym as Sword from the Marvel comics. They changed it up just a tad bit. So Sword in this show is Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. And then in Marvel here, let me just get it right here. So for them, it's Sentient World. Oh no, I thought it was something different here. Oh, here it is right here. Oh, let me put this up. Yes. So Sentient World Observation and Response Department. So it's slightly different there. When it comes to the show, and then when it comes to the comics, what they call it. So I don't know if it coordinates with the whole what Samuel Jackson's doing, because at the end of Captain Marvel, you see he works at this big space station, which that's also like in the comics, that's where the headquarters is with Sword, is like this big space station. So a lot of people are assuming like, okay, now Samuel Jackson is the one as Nick Fury who's taken up, and he's the leader of Sword, but it has this other guy who's the director there of Sword.
Well, they also kind of like a name drop. It's like, there's protocol in place for if a disappeared person's ever returned. It's like you're grounded. It's like no terrestrial missions only, so only on Earth.
Yeah.
So it's implying that there is a space program with Sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. So they're implying there is that space element that we'll probably see later on and things. It also kind of establishes, so apparently this has been an organization that's been kind of along with, it's been around for a while. It's not something that's relatively new. It's, kind of been in the same kind of existence as something like S.H.I.E.L.D., just never has seen it before. So you see her, you see that, Her mother is very like, she's the one that started Sword. You even like her nickname. You see like her plaque on the wall, and it says Marie Photon Rambeau, which the character was a superhero. I don't know, maybe they'll make her maybe potentially a hero in the future. Monica Rambeau, give her powers. Maybe that's a possibility.
There might have been a hint to it.
Yeah, so that's
talk about
it. A little bit of a possibility it might do that. And you also see the return. So she gets, when she comes back, she gets a mission to go to Westview. There's this strange occurrence there. Of course, we all know what that is. You know, with WandaVision, her power, she basically, so we get a little bit more insight as to what's going on in terms of, so she's kind of put this shroud around this whole town, this kind of bubble where people don't even know its existence. You know what I mean? Like, they're talking to the local police there, and they go like, well, you know, it's like, do you know Westview? And it's like, no, I don't know Westview. And so, where are you from? Well, I'm from Eastview. You know what I mean?
And we get the return of Asian John Krasinski.
Yeah, you know, Jimmy Woo, who's played by Randall Park, who I like seeing him. I think he's good.
And it's kind of cool to see like how these characters we haven't seen in a while, how they've like changed from the previous appearance. Like one of my favorite jokes from Ant-Man and the Wasp is like how impressed Jimmy Woo was with like close-up magic, and he's like doing like little tricks now.
Yeah, little things like that is a good callback. You know what I mean? Like, that's a really good callback. Little detail, doesn't take much from the story, doesn't take much time out, which is just like, that's a nice little added touch. You know what I mean? Like, if you watched Ant-Man 2 and saw like, yeah, I mean, he was really impressed with Scott doing that, and then now, you know, he finally learned the trick. He finally got it. You know what I mean? You know, good for him.
Just took him 5 years, but he got it now.
Yeah, exactly. He's now the most powerful magic user in Marvel.
Yeah. So they're investigating, and you see a lot of explanations that we saw from, you know, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, like the whole thing with the helicopter. You know, when she just discovered the helicopter in the grass, in the hedges there. We see that was like a sword drone. You know what I mean? That went in with the whole beekeeper guy. That was somebody trying to go underneath into the tunnels. And apparently when you cross over, you know, in this world, you instantly become, you know, this 60s, 50s character or whatever, no matter what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like his tether, it became a jump rope. His uniform, which looked like a hazmat suit, it became a beekeeper's uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it just,
I'm wondering what the hell happened to that guy.
You know what I mean? So it just instantly transforms like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I thought, you know, that was something really interesting. Also with this, so it's you see them investigating, them doing, you know, the FBI, the Air Force, Sword, you know, all these other elements. And you also, and you see the return of Kat Dennings, who's the character from Thor films. They didn't make her annoying in this. You know, she's that perfect.
Yes, it's the first time I've ever liked this character. At least outside of the first Thor movie, because the Dark World, she was just kind of annoying. She got on my nerves. Here, it's also cool to see that she's grown since then. She's now a doctor in physics. She's kind of like taken that Stellan Skarsgård role.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you know,
she's
a doctor now. Yeah.
She's more of like a charismatic comedic relief rather than just like a pesty annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you know, Nick said, I mean, she's a doctor now, so, you know, she's much more professional now, but still has that humor.
She's the one figuring shit out now.
Yeah.
Which, thank goodness, because she was like one of my more nervous additions when they announced that she was returning for this.
But she was like,
oh, thank you.
She might have been one of my favorite moments she might have had some of my favorite moments in the series, just because. Yeah,
she's the MVP of this episode for sure. Especially like her reacting to the sitcom.
Yeah, her reactions to the episodes are hilarious. She reacts exactly how we have, which is watching. You know, like, we're just as confused, but we're also just having a good time with it.
Yeah, you know, she's invested. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So she comes because they invite, not only with the addition of all these other people, they invite all these experts in fields like astrophysics and and chemicals and all and mathematics and all these other experts in the field to help examine what the hell is going on with this field. And she comes on, and she kind of figures it out right away. And she, it's just like, well, I need a really old TV, and then that's when they prop it up with the antenna, with dials and buttons. Like, damn, you know what I mean? Like I haven't used a TV with a dial and buttons and forever. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a minute, So she looks, and then how they're seeing it in the reality of what's going on in the bubble is how we're seeing it. It's presented as a 50s, 60s TV show. And the people in the show are people from the town. You know what I mean? They're
yes. I was like, I liked that reveal. It's like all the people in the show are like people outside in the real world and all missing persons.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a good explanation.
Yeah, the concept of like, because as when they introduce it to Monica, they're like, oh, it's just a missing person, a person's case. But then once they get to the reveal, like the whole town is missing. And nobody knows who these people are. They don't even remember that they even existed.
Yeah.
But there's this town in this sort of ghost town now. And I don't know if just anybody can cross through it, because I feel like Monica was the first one to have done it, right? In terms of just being able to cross through into the
I feel like
WandaVision reality.
Yeah, she was like the first person that we see that crossed over into that reality. And just going back to like all the revealed and the missing persons, the two people that we didn't see in that chart, it was Agnes.
Yeah,
she was the one person that didn't get identified by a sword.
And whoever the fuck Ralph is.
Also, the woman that was also the woman at the event she had at the Housewives. What's her name?
Emma Caulfield. He was played by Emma Caulfield, aka Anya from Buffy.
Yeah, she was also not identified either. And there's potential. Somebody said she could also be a witch character because her husband in the comics is like this supervillain possibly, and she's part of like this witch order or something like that. So there's a potential for that they also didn't identify her. So there's also saying she may be also somebody who could be involved and part of with Agnes as well. So that's somebody they also did, but they identified, like her. They identified, husband in the reality with Emma Caulfield. They identified the guy that Vision works with. They identified. So they identified all these, mainly all the other people we've seen in it, in the series. And the way they're seeing it is, like we said, with a 50s, 60s TV show with credits and everything, you know what I mean, laugh track, you know what I mean, like they have the whole shebang, watching it, and they're just completely like, and when they're watching it, it's like, like, well, Vision is dead, so like how are we seeing him right here? Like he's dead, not snap dead, like
not blipped, dead.
Yeah.
I know it's been a crazy couple of years, but.
But he's like dead, like head crushed.
Yeah. And there's a moment in it when she gives birth, which Kat Dennings thinks like, okay, well, hey, it's gonna be broken, the reality. She's gonna, it's gonna be done away with. But then no, she just gives birth to the kid, and she's like, oh, damn.
It's like, oh, twins.
Yeah. So it's
and
like,
and we like see gaps that we're aware of that aren't shown on the series. It's like the whole confrontation Wanda has with Monica Rambeau after she says the name Ultron, and that like snaps her out of that reality for a second, and the next thing we know, we see Monica get thrown out, and we actually see how that happens. It's like it's terrifying when it does, because Wanda, she like she like uses her powers, and for the first time we actually see like the red glow around her hands when she does it.
Yeah. It's pretty scary. You know what I mean? She really turns it up. Yeah. And it just switches. And then one thing also Kat didn't notice that we also notice watching it is that, like you said, that little glitch, right? When we see,
it's like time skips.
Yeah, you know that, and that kind of moment where it just kind of skips and everything like that, and we see, you know, everything kind of leading up to that point where Monica Rambeau gets ejected from the reality, and she still remembers everything that happened there. So she's like something where she walks in and doesn't remember. So you see her when she gets kicked out, she's talking about like it's all Wanda that's doing it. And also a thing that you see when Vision comes back, if she sees a dead version of Vision, you know what I mean? It's like kind of like a Weekend at Bernie's type thing, where he's just like, you know, like with his head crushed and he's all grayed out, and like we saw him when he was in Endgame when he died. You know, is how she saw him, you know, for a second until she flipped it back on. Everything shit like that. Yeah, I mean that was a real freaky image for me.
That scared me. It was like, oh fucking hell.
Yeah. And so, you know, with that, and you know, he's just like, you know, we can go wherever we want, and she's like, no, we can't. You know what I mean? You know, this is our home. We're staying here. So just to get you guys, so what are some of your favorite moments in the episodes? Because Chayse, you mentioned that Kat Dennings had some of your favorite moments of the series.
Yeah, so definitely her interaction, well, her reactions to the sitcom, and then also her interactions with Agent Wu. I love the joke where they were watching Wanda have kids, and she just offhandedly asked, like, do you want one? But she doesn't necessarily define what she meant by you want one. So Agent Wu's just like, oh yeah, he's going on in this tangent about how he would love to have his son, and then like all the things that he would do with his son and whatnot.
Oh, a chip.
And then the camera reveals that, oh no, she just literally has a bag of chips. Just pointed at him. But of course everything with Monica was dope too. Just like seeing her come back from the snap was one of the coldest cold opens I've ever seen. That was a great but hard way to come back. Jeez. But it's just a dark way to start an episode too. But I loved it. Just seeing everything come together, and then also, of course, the reveal that Wanda is doing this, that she did kidnap an entire town and bring it into her own weird reality to cope, is such an interesting premise. So I can't wait. I loved it. I loved this episode.
Nick?
Shit, man, you took all of my answers for my favorite moments. It was like again, just going back to like the cold open of this with Monica Rambeau coming back from being blipped, and just how that's handled with the shaky cam, with all the performance of the background actors, people in the background just asking, do you have a phone? Do you have a phone? I need to call my wife. And just, oh my God, that reveal is handled so well. And the return of Kat Dennings, she is the MVP of this episode, because her interaction, especially with Randall Park, it's played perfectly. She's finally like a competent character with agency. She's not annoying like she was in the first two Thor movies. And the reveal of, yes, Wanda is manipulating this reality is terrifying, especially her interaction with Vision. Like, once we know that it's her doing, and I just love that reveal, that last little lingering shot of Vision, like when Wanda tells him, no, this is our home now, and he's like giving that scared little half smile. It like reminded me so much of something like the end of The Graduate. It's like oh my God, how much do you know about what's going on?
Yeah, no, I'm still wondering, like, how, like, what Vision is, like, because he still is sentient enough to ask the questions that we're all wondering, you know?
Right. Yes, he's asking all the right questions. it's just Wanda won't answer or won't let him find out.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if like Vision is like she's kind of like projecting like a subconscious part of herself into Vision as to how she remembers Vision, or if Vision is still somehow sentient in this reality. I have no idea how to explain what I'm asking, but it's just like I
think she's just like she like stole Vision's body and is just like Weekend at Bernie's-ing him.
But like I'm asking because like he's not like the other characters where they're just like when there's a glitch they're just still, hey, I'm still in the sitcom. Like he's like asking questions and stuff like that, which is why I'm kind of just like confused by his character.
And you see a promo for like some of the next episode, like he actually tries to like actively go out and like goes to the force field, this bubble and trying to kick out.
Man, I'm not trying to watch previews. I'm enjoying the week to week. I like going in cold.
Yeah, I didn't know they even made previews.
I'm enjoying going into this cold. It's like this is like what worked so well with The Mandalorian for me. It's like there wasn't any preview for the next episode. It's like you have to wait.
Yeah, I thought they were doing what they did with Mando. I didn't know that they were doing previews for this. I'd honestly be cool if like all of Disney's series didn't do previews. I feel like that would kind of help.
I mean, I think it's good going in cold. It's good going in like kind of not knowing, but it's kind of like more of like a little bit of showing a little bit of like kind of like a lot what's left of the series and everything like that.
Now,
things like that. Something
that's in the trailer, I still don't know exactly how this will come back up, but I do remember there being like a line of where a couple lines where Wanda and Vision are talking about defending their home.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna be saved for like maybe the last 2 episodes of this.
Yeah. It's just I'm not entirely convinced of who they're gonna be defending their home.
Yeah, because honestly, I think the explanation of it's all Wanda, I think that's a little too simple for what this show is going for.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about, I mean, everybody at this point talked about Agnes potentially being Agatha Harkness. The villain of this potentially being the demon Mephisto. Oh yeah, him too.
Or Nightmare being Nightmare to tie into Doctor Strange multiverse.
Which so who knows? This shit is crazy. But I can't wait for the next episode.
What's your rating for this episode?
10. I give it a 10. Purely emotional 10. I just loved it. The mystery, the humor, the tragedy, it had everything. Had everything that I would look for.
Yeah, same for me. It's like even this episode, which is the most like the MCU, that like this is probably the one that's most in common with the MCU proper, and this is still like so weird, so creative, so just amazing at its performances and its execution, and it's keeping that mystery going. This is absolute 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
I think I'm on par with that. I give it like a maybe 8, 9.
Hater.
10. You know what I mean? I think a very strong episode. Everything like that. When you said that Monica possibly was getting powers, I mean, what did you mean by that?
So, I mean, granted, I might be overthinking it, but before her, nobody else was able to even get inside the bubble. So I'm wondering if that had to do with anything about her in particular, because not even like, because like Agent Wu, he said like there's like this weird like bubble or something, like air or something that I can't quite wrap my head around. But he never like got inside. He never like touched the force field. He never like interacted with it. So I'm wondering if like.
Well, I would agree with you, but also the beekeeper, he kind of got it no problem.
No, but I was wondering if like maybe if she does have powers, maybe she activated possibility. Because everybody else was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like the police officers were clueless as hell. They didn't even know this town existed anymore. So, and
yeah,
I don't know. Did they drive through the town, by the way? Because it looked like they were parked, like pointing towards it. I have to go back into that.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like they were driving up to the town. And then like the two cops didn't know what they were talking about, but Jimmy Woo, I mean, everybody else knew. So I guess like Monica Rambeau said, like maybe it has a specific radius of who gets affected by who knows where the town is and everything like that. Because obviously there's people who know about the town because they filed a missing persons report and they called people and then they went to the place and then to figure it out, you know. It's like I haven't heard from my family member in so and so time, you know what's happening, things like that. So, so I don't know exactly how all that works. And she kind of got, like you said, sucked into it. But I mean, like I guess anybody could walk through it. Maybe I guess it depends. I don't know exactly what the qualifications are because it seemed like the dude in the hazmat suit, he went through no problem.
Yeah,
I feel like that's going to be like one of the bigger reveals, and I think this is a case of Wanda. She probably just like stuck it to one house, but her powers were just, she's so much stronger than she knows, and she ended up doing this to an entire town.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for episode 5 coming up next week. After that, it's 4 more episodes after that. Yeah, so it's good. I wish, maybe I'm just greedy. I wish they did maybe 2 at a time, maybe just to see. But yeah, I mean, really good episode. Strongest episode I think they've done so far.
Yeah.
Series. All right. So moving on from discussing WandaVision, we're going to discuss The Little Things. Movie starring Denzel Washington and Rami Malek, directed by John Lee Hancock. This is the HBO Max film that premiered also today, Friday. In this film, very simple concept, right? 2 LA cops work together to track down a serial killer. Denzel Washington, who plays a deputy. Rami Malek plays more of the sleeker, newer cop, the detective, college boy, more educated, professional, wears very nice suits, dressed really nice, wears nice shades, everything like that.
Now, all of his clothing is kind of anachronistic because this is set in like 1990.
Yeah, 1990. And you honestly, when you watch the film, you kind of forget it's set in the 90s. I mean, honestly, it can be set during any time because really, I mean, except for a few things like the technology, like you see something like when they go to the crime lab and the computers they're using.
It's like nobody's using cell phones. You see like posters of like No Doubt in the background.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, it has no impact on the story, whatsoever. I mean, you really don't.
Very few things actually do.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Watching it, so yeah, I mean, it doesn't really have much. In this, Denzel Washington. I mean, in these type of stories, we're dealing with 2 detectives who hunt down a serial killer. And they're hunting down this killer who's killed 4 women so far when the story begins. Opens up with him, the serial killer chasing basically one of his victims, and I think you always have the tortured character, right? In these type of things, you always have the cop who's burdened by the past, and this killer is haunted him, and the killings have haunted him, and now it's driven him to the point where it's ruined his life. And that's what happened with the Denzel Washington character. It ruined it. You hear that it kind of ruined his marriage. He ruined his job. Hunting this guy. This killer. And you see that all this pressure that's put on the department for them to solve this case now. Like with Rami Malek.
Yes, especially because this is like 1990. This is not that long after they finally caught the Night Stalker.
Yeah, which they do mention in this, you know what I mean, like the public pressure to solve it.
Mm.
And you also have Jared Leto in this, who's one of the presumed suspects in this film.
So I'm not even sure they told Jared Leto they were filming him. I'm pretty sure they just brought him on the set.
Yeah. And he's nicely creepy.
He is easily the one character who is shown up on this set to fucking act into work, because honestly, with Denzel and with Rami Malek, one, it feels like both of them were horribly miscast for this movie. And at least with Rami Malek, if you told me that he was an Academy Award winner before I saw this movie, I don't know if after I see this, I don't know if I would fucking believe you. Because he's just so dry, so bland. He's charismaless in this role.
Yeah. I mean, how he acts in this is like, I mean, he was great in Mr. Robot because of this is the type, of personality that fits a character like he was in Mr. Robot. And if nobody's ever seen it, it's an amazing show, came on USA. And with Mr. Robot, I mean, his character was someone who's very, kind of shuttered, a character that was very kind of insecure, a character that was very much kind of lived in solitude. So, he was somebody that was very, very antisocial. For a character like that, the way he talks, the way he moves, kind of worked, in that sense. But then in this, it doesn't really fit, because in this, he's supposed to be the hot shot, cocky detective, the person that's like this, like, I'm the new breed of detective coming in, all these dinosaurs in this department, I'm this genius guy who comes and solves all these cases, like, this is what I do, I'm the professional at this. And I think that his personality just doesn't, I don't think, quite fits maybe with this role as much.
Well, I don't think it's 100% his fault. I think the writing for his character isn't. Like, there's very few moments where you actually are like, oh, this guy is smart.
Yes. Yes.
Like, there's
exactly the screenplay for this is telling you these characters are smart.
Yeah, they're not
showing you ever.
Now they do show Denzel's character a couple times. But not enough, not nearly enough for me to buy that he was, genius detective that just happened to have this one slip up, But
yeah,
I think that's the problem.
Yeah, because you see, like, when they're at crime scenes, and then when Denzel Washington shows up, I mean, everybody just hates this guy. You know what I mean? They all just kind of, just completely, just kind of hate him and shit on this guy. And you're wondering, like, why is that? Why are they kind of shit on this guy? What you find out later throughout the film.
Yes.
And you see him at the crime scenes investigating. Kind of looking around, doing, some detective work, trying to see everything like that, and how he has this itch and everything like that to just figure out everything. And I mean, I like some of the little bit of elements. I mean, like Nick mentioned, like how Rami Malek is not as strong in this movie. I think Denzel Washington is pretty good. I think he's solid. Yeah, Rami Malek, I mean, I just don't think maybe, either he doesn't fit the character, the writing doesn't fit for the character. And then Rami Malek, I mean, there's something about the way he talks. I mean, he kind of talks like a drunk guy that pretends to be sober, kind of, you know what I mean? Like kind of, it's not like he's always talking through his teeth and he's holding his jaw a lot.
Yeah.
And doesn't really enunciate all that much. And then he's got those kind of gecko eyes and shit like that.
He acts like he's trying to be, he's trying to be cool.
Yeah.
He's like a nerd who's trying to pretend to be cool.
Yeah, and if that was a part of his character, that could have worked, but it really wasn't. Like, he was, his character was actually supposed to be cool, which was hard to buy.
Yeah, this is just one of the most frustrating, I'll say it, boring movies to get through, because this is just a standard murder mystery procedural, but when your case isn't that interesting, when your two leads, the detectives, when they're not bringing any life into this, and when you have the character who is in Jared Leto and he's not in it enough, you kind of just got a half-baked mess of a movie. And that's not surprising considering this is what was his name? John Lee Hancock?
Yeah.
Yes, who's directed such bullshit like the fucking Blind Side.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is probably the
That's
best
a
thing
hood
he's
classic.
ever. I mean, this is probably the best thing he's ever probably directed or written. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that ain't saying much.
Because he also did the screenplay for like Snow White and the Huntsman.
I forgot.
Yeah, which I don't mind Snow White and the Huntsman. I think it's kind of okay. But anyway, I mean, it wasn't like a good, really well written movie. It just was like it was a decent action movie, whatever.
Yeah.
This I feel like all of the there is a good movie here.
Yeah.
It's just all the pieces you brought to it don't fit this.
Yeah, not at all. And when it was starting to fit, felt like it was pretty much over.
it was too little, too late.
Yeah, because there's a twist in this that could have been explored and made this movie great, but that's just too far gone in the movie. And I'm really trying not to spoil, but
Yeah, it's one of those endings that's trying to have this like big, profound question. I'd say question your morality message, but it's also trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
It's like trying to say, what this character did was wrong, but it was actually right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stick the landing that well.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, like to Nick, to your point, it just feels kind of like a standard procedural kind of mystery film. I mean, when it comes to the pinnacle of these type of films, right? I mean, we think of Silence of the Lambs.
We think Silence of the Lambs is Seven, Zodiac.
Yeah.
And there were moments where you could see the inspiration, like especially Seven, when a character introduced it to, Jared Leto is introduced to the mix. It felt very Seven-ish, which I was down for. But
and Jared Leto, he's easily the best character in this movie because he's fucking awake during this.
And he might have honestly, like you said earlier, just been playing himself. Like he might have not.
Pretty sure they didn't.
Yeah, like, and his character's got like Jared Leto, who doesn't show up until like an hour. This movie's like 2 hours. He doesn't show up until way over till the hour mark of this film. And his character's got like these weird little quirks, like how he kind of waddles when he walks. He's got a little bit of like a pot belly. Kind of
got hair so greasy you can make French fries with it.
And throughout the movie, you're like questioning, throughout that part of the movie, you're like questioning, like, did he do it? No, maybe he's just messing with you. And that was like a good question to ask, like,
because in the movie they say he's like this huge crime buff and he has all this crime books.
Yeah, he's a crime buff. He confessed to another murder years prior that he had nothing to do with. So there's always like that mystery of whether he actually did it.
And with him, I would say, like you say, he's bringing some life into it, some energy into it, kind of with his character. And it is kind of nice to see a little bit of his back and forth a little bit with the cops, because like Chayse said, I mean, he's fucking with these dudes. I mean, there's a scene in this. There's a scene in this where he tells Rami Malek, oh no, wait, do this over here. Oh no, you know what? Wait a minute, maybe I'm mistaken. Do this over here. Oh, you know what? Damn. You know what? My bad, man. It's right here. Like, it's like he's just fucking with the dude. It's like that. What I mean? Like, wow. Like, that was I love that scene. That was like the best scene. I was like, damn, bro, why are you fucking with this man like that?
Where was that for the past 2 hours?
You know what I mean? Like, especially a guy like Rami Malek. I mean, he plays somebody who is so invested in these cases, solving this and these victims. It's like I have to answer to these victims. I work for them, and very much of that personal connection there of trying to figure this out. And like Nick said, this movie has all the ingredients, right? It has all the pieces to be something great. You see it, but it just kind of comes out as very kind of standard, very basic.
I wouldn't even say standard or basic. I would say mediocre at best.
Yeah.
And you got good actors. Maybe you need probably better director, better screenplay here to really execute it properly.
If a David Fincher type was directing this shit would fucking slap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like I wish he knew the characters better, and I wish he knew how to like actually write twist in terms of just like how to make the investigation procedural interesting. Way, you know?
Yeah. Like maybe if you had somebody maybe like I don't know, maybe like Noah Hawley maybe come and do something like this.
Noah Hawley, Cary Fukunaga, fucking David Fincher, any of those guys could have like, even if the mystery itself isn't that interesting, you could have at least gotten like, I feel like better performances or like a better understanding of your detectives.
Yeah.
Because I mean the relationship that they have, which is a core what you have in these type of movies, you know, when you have detectives chasing a killer movie, cops chasing a killer, is the relationship between the two cops chasing them. The relationship between Denzel Washington and Rami Malek, not all that really great, not all that really interesting, not all that really, you know, that compelling between the two.
Yeah, they don't really have chemistry, and it could be an issue with like they're given the most generic cop movie dialogue to explain to each other. It's like, how about I buy you breakfast? Deliver with about that much emotion.
Yeah.
How about I buy you breakfast? Why would I do that?
Oh my gosh, you're making him sound like Tommy Wiseau. He was not that bad. He was bad, but he was not that bad. They were definitely sleepwalking like throughout this whole entire movie though. Like there was very little like clever banter. There's very little like moments, like their relationship doesn't even really like get a chance to like blossom. It's kind of just like, oh, this dude's a dick. Yeah, this dude is a dick. All right. Oh, he had my job before I had your job. Yeah. And that's kind of just like that confusion within my voice is kind of how that relationship blossoms. Kind of just like, yeah, all right, sure, yeah, we're here, we're friends now.
Yeah.
But there's zero chemistry, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is just standard, and it looks even worse when you have this trifecta of Academy Award-winning actors involved in this.
Yeah. So just to give my final rating for it, for me, I give it a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. What about you guys?
I'm probably gonna give this a strong 4.
Strong 4.
Yeah, because it's like there's some decent elements in it. It's just poorly executed. You just tell he doesn't know the characters and doesn't know how to make this story interesting. So like, I mean, there's like highlights that like Jared Leto's character that are almost even begging me to make it a 5, but it doesn't deserve a 5. It's not an average movie. It's a mediocre film.
Okay. Just talking about it now, I wouldn't even say it's an average or a mediocre movie. I would say this is a straight up shitty movie. This is just, it's so much potential with your actors. You have Denzel Washington, you have Jared Leto, you have Rami Malek, and if you didn't tell me these guys were Academy Award winners, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
Because none of them are given like good material to work with. John Hancock, he doesn't know how to make this story interesting. The mystery itself, it's just kind of nothing that you can't see on like Law and Order or fucking True Detective. There's like non-existent chemistry between Rami Malek and Denzel Washington. The only person who's actually bringing any life to this is Jared Leto, and he's not in it enough.
Yeah.
All the cinematography, all the score of it, it's all like standard police drama, and it's just the ending for this. It's trying to like be like morally ambiguous, but also it's just handled so poorly that by the end of this, I was just screaming, "All right, fuck you, movie."
Yeah, it's kind of, you know, that's how I feel. In cab, it's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, this is low 3 out of 10. At least it's the biggest crime is that it's not even just that it's bad, it's that it's boring and it's bad.
Yeah.
It's like, this is 2 hours long and I felt every second of it. I was checking my watch like 20 minutes into this movie. It's like, okay, are you gonna move this shit along? Let's go.
Make it interesting. Make it
And
fun.
you tried to do that with like some of Denzel's quirks. It's like you see in the trailer, he's like talking to corpses. He like sees the ghosts of the murder victims, but it's like one scene of it and it's gone.
Yeah, no, I am disappointed by that too. They used that far too sparingly. Like, they could have really delved into that and kind of played with his psychology, just being this madman that is obsessed with crimes, and it's just like, it's there for like 2 seconds and it's gone. They could have done some like Queen's Gambit type beat with that, you know what I'm saying? Because he's visualizing like how crimes happen or whatever. Could have, done that, but nope.
No.
Not at all.
It's like you already had this very similar story played out in a much better project in like the first season of True Detective.
Yeah. True Detective. Yeah, that's a great example of one that does it. But it's a TV show and it's able to really play with that over a TV show series format. But yeah, I mean, that's why somebody like, maybe if you had, like you mentioned, Corey Fukunaga, who could have come in, maybe did something like this, maybe he would have been better at doing this material. But shame. It's a real waste of some talent here. You got a good concept here. The execution is just kind of poor. All right, so we're gonna get out of here. So we're just gonna get out of here, and before we do, we're gonna mention just Cloris Leachman, who passed away, 94. People might know her. She worked on, of course, Older People, Mary Tyler Moore Show, which she won 8 Emmys for. She also won an Academy Award for a movie called The Last Picture Show. People probably of my generation, younger, probably know her. She was in Malcolm in the Middle. She was the grandmother in that. She was also in Bad Santa, where she was the grandmother in that as well. So, towards later of her career, she's played a lot of grandmother roles, things like that, did more comedy, stuff like that.
Yeah, she's just bit parts in like a lot of comedies, but every time she comes on, she's always hilarious. She's one of the greats.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. She's absolutely fantastic, legend, icon, somebody who threw herself into everything she did, full commitment, even if she was playing a small bit part on shows like that. So that's really nice. And you also have Cecily Tyson, who also passed away at 96. So both these women lived very long, full lives. Cecily Tyson, another legend, icon as well. Been in Hollywood for a long time, especially at a time when it was very difficult for Black people to come up in the industry, especially dark-skinned Black women like herself. She had movies like in 1959, Harry Belafonte's Odds Against Tomorrow, The Comedians, The Last Angry Man, A Man Called Adam, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. She also refused to participate in blaxploitation movies that became popular in the 60s and 70s. She waited to return to screen in a movie called Sounder, which captured several Oscar nominations, including Tyson's she got for Best Actress. She got a nomination for that film. She also received an Oscar nomination in 1973 for Martin Ritt's drama Sounder, which I just mentioned, and she just received a honorary Oscar not too long ago in 2018. She's been around for a very, very, very long time. It's kind of sad that the last thing I saw her in was A Fall from Grace, but
I love that movie, but it's for all the wrong reasons.
But that's a shame. But you could always go back and look at her the classic works, legendary works.
There's all of her classic works, all of her amazing stuff, all of that is still there.
Yeah, she's a legend for a reason.
Yeah, her work in civil rights, and also along with she was an incredible threat when it came to she was a dancer, actress, like this hugely multi-talented person. and everything like that. So yeah, very, very sad. But 96, full life, man. Both these women, 94, 96, yeah, life's full lives there.
Yeah, most people are lucky to get up to that age.
Yeah, and Cecily Tyson was still looking good, still looking fine.
Yeah, I was about to say she was still active too. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you got your thing with older women, but I was just gonna compliment her in the sense that, like, for 96, I didn't know she was 96 because she was still active, and you'd always see her at award shows looking like just great.
Yeah.
But Chayse, you did need some of this?
No, I'm good. Save that for Josh.
She also received the Medal of Freedom as well during the Obama presidency. She also received that as well. Yeah. So yeah, legendary, iconic person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So rest in power to her. Rest in power to Cloris Leachman. All right, so we're just gonna get out of here, people. Hey, we are everywhere where you all listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything like that. Of course, we're on YouTube. Check us out. Comment, like, subscribe, do all that good fun stuff. Hey, we're also on social medias. We're also on Twitter.com/The Afternoon Tune, Facebook, The Afternoon Tune. We're also on TikTok now. Yeah, we're TikTokers. Doing that. So TikTok, The Afternoon Tune. If you want to send us an email, we're at theafternoontune@gmail.com. We're also on Twitch as well at twitch.tv/The Afternoon Tune. Chayse, where do you want people to find you?
You can find me at Mr. Chayse Mac. That's spelled MrChaysec. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah. Where can they find you, Nick?
All right.
You can find me Twitter and Instagram at Night and Day Nick. You can follow my dog Bubbles at bub.BLES0922, and check out my friend Miranda Maverick's fight, UFC 258, February 13th. Prelims kicking off at 8 p.m. East Coast time, I think.
Yeah, fear the Maverick.
Okay. Fear the fucking Maverick.
Fear the Maverick. All right. So to all you people out there listening to this, hope you enjoy listening to this, and don't forget to always stay
tuned. Holy shit! Did we fucking do it?
Probably not. One of these days.
Oh.